showed a lot last night with the 1-0 victory over Catholic Memorial. You did a great job, Taz.
Yeah, the team appreciates it as they're watching it behind me.
Oh, they are? Good luck this year. Good luck this season, guys. We're rooting for you. Thank you. All right, I just wanted to bring that up because Taz is a good friend of mine, and he did a great job last night.
Sure. And if we can continue the discussion we were having before the phone call, you mentioned Rashay Caldwell being a new weapon for the Patriots. And I think that really opens up the passing game because Patriots a couple years ago, they had the Deion Branch and they had the David Givens, but they were able to make deep threats with, which really made the screen game work for the Patriots. And if you notice this year, that short game with the screens hasn't really been doing much for them.
I'm going to take another phone call here real quick.
Yeah?
Hi, you're on Face the Facts.
Is it working?
It is working now.
It's Kyle's brother! Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Hello?
Is anybody there? Okay, looks like they hung up on you.
Dave, I guess
Dave,
you're the
I think they really like you, Dave.
I guess I do.
You guess you got a fan club out there.
What can I say?
He's had a fan club for years.
Who's been a deep threat for the Patriots, I'm going to have to say, is Asante Samuel with the 3 picks that he had against the Bears.
He's emerging as a good cornerback in the league.
It seems like every time he's out there, an interception happens. I mean, it's great to see that perfect.
Another phone call.
Why don't we finish this topic before we take the phone call?
Continue.
I think he's especially making a big threat on defense because he's getting so many picks. He's able to read the quarterback, to be able to see their eyes. And he's like, oh, he's going that way, so he's able to go and get right in front of the ball. And, hey, he ends up in his hands. So.
You know who's on the phone? Who? George Bush. No, Ryan Panett's on the phone.
George Bush doesn't live in Reading.
What's up, Ryan?
How you doing, Nick?
I can see you from the back. Ryan is in the building.
I'm not going to intrude on the show at this moment, but I'd just like to comment on the Rashay Caldwell. First quarter, he played really well last week, and then he kind of cooled off at the second half. He had 5 receptions the first quarter, and then he just kind of cooled off. What was up with that?
Well, I think it just goes to show you that the Patriots, I mean, the Lions gave them a challenge. Let's just say that. I mean, they came out flat, like we agreed on. And you know what? Everybody has a bad game. That's what I'm going to say.
Maybe Detroit adjusted to them, like throwing to Rashay Caldwell a lot, so they put their top cornerback on them, double covered him.
Anything else you guys got to say about that?
Oh, I mean, I just don't think they played well at all.
No, I agree with that. The Patriots totally underestimated their opponent. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah. Definitely, they came out flat, and it showed, definitely.
No, they normally don't do that, but, sometimes it's just going to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
And Ryan, you coming on the show later tonight?
We'll be on the show later tonight.
All right, Ryan will be in the building, and he still is, and he'll be on the show. Thanks, Ryan. All right, anything else about the Patriots before we move on?
Well, I was going to say, okay.
I think they'll play solid throughout for the rest next couple of games. They've got Miami, and who are the next 2 opponents after Miami?
They have Houston's their last home game this year.
Jacksonville. Tennessee.
Jacksonville, I think they'll play them tough. I think
Tennessee too. I'd watch out for that.
They're at Jacksonville too, and Jacksonville's a lot better at home than
I'm interested to see how Vince Young does in that game.
I
want to see how we will do.
I think the Patriots are the perfect type of defense to combat his skills because he's a really mobile quarterback, and the Patriots have a history of doing well against these mobile quarterbacks. They're able to contain them, so Vince Young's feet will not be a weapon that he used. I believe he had Houston this week, so he won't be able to use that against the Patriots. I think.
Who's your MVP of the game for the Patriots?
Corey Dillon.
Gotta go. Corey Dillon. I mean, even though we only had 25 yards, those 25 yards were quite big.
Yeah.
Well,
3 touchdowns.
You take away. It doesn't even matter about the yards. It's 3 touchdowns. It's the fact that Corey Dillon can be the dependable guy on the goal line situation to get it in, even if he's not. Back when he had that 50-yard run, I think it was against Green Bay. You saw him just huffing and puffing because he doesn't have the speed he used to.
With Corey Dillon, I mean, you can count on him to probably get the 1 yard if you need him to get the first down.
Absolutely.
But with Lawrence Maroney, will give you the big yardage.
And they're really grooming him to be the back of the future, but I don't think that they want to put him in such a position so early in his career.
Let him develop.
You look at like Kevin Jones. We just played against him. I mean, like he still is being groomed as the feature back for Detroit, and he really hasn't, put up the numbers that people projected him to put up.
All right. Yeah, let's take a phone call here.
How about it?
Hi, you're on Face the Facts.
Hey, Face.
What's going on?
How could you say Corey Dillon's the MVP of that game?
3
When you have
TDs.
Ty Warren with 10 tackles and 2 sacks. He played excellent.
Didn't Corey Dillon get 3 touchdowns?
He got 3 touchdowns. Short yardage.
Yes. Still, it doesn't matter,
What do you think
Touchdown's a
about Richard
touchdown.
Seymour? His play of the game.
I think he's awful. He doesn't do anything.
I agree.
You gotta remember that Richard Seymour, he brings attention from offensive linemen.
Right.
If 2 guys are covering him, then that means that there's a defense.
Reno, you should be on the show tonight, buddy.
Hey, I saw stats.
You were
Seymour
booked.
had 0 tackles that game.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Also defensive end.
He does nothing. I agree.
Doesn't do anything. It's a joke.
He
On
gets
the Pro
2
Bowl
guys
team.
on him.
I
Must
know.
be doing something for that line.
Because they see
Wasn't
the
Warren
double
Sapp
team.
on the Pro Bowl team?
They see the double team and they
Didn't do
think
anything.
that commands respect. I mean, it does. I will give him that. I mean, the game he had last, he blocked a field goal. I mean, I agree. He does make some good plays.
So, Greeno, are you telling me that the Patriots are better off without Richard Seymour?
I say that, Face.
No, but you're acting like you are.
I'm saying that Ty Warren and Vince Wilfork are more valuable to that defensive line right now.
But Vince Wilfork has a great season, and he's done better than Seymour so far.
Man,
but you know what? Richard Seymour is still a very valuable part of the defensive line.
And Richard Seymour comes in the
I don't
clutch.
see him making the plays I saw him make in the past.
You can always depend on him for a big play, though. I mean, it's pretty evident as it was in Chicago. He stepped it
Vince
up.
Wilfork and Roosevelt Colvin have been the heart for the defense this year. I'm just going to tell you. What do you think about that?
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay, thank you. Anything else to say, Greeno?
Yes, comment on Sean's Vince
Thank you.
Young saying that the Patriots will stop the mobility.
Okay.
Patriots are known to having a very slow defense, and I don't agree with that comment.
Well, I think with these newer guys, you're going to get some fresh legs in there.
Poor guy such as who?
Yeah, what newer guys?
You know, I'll be honest, I don't know him offhand because I don't have a roster in front of me.
Signed off the street.
The cornerback they found off the street? Is that
I'm
what
not
you're
talking about cornerbacks.
That's cool.
I'm talking about cornerbacks.
Guys,
I told you, I don't know them offhand.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, Greeno, you know what? He's in
put me
USC
on the
tonight,
spot,
buddy.
Greeno.
You know, you should be here. This is what we got to find. You know, we didn't have many decisions here. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Come on.
All right, later, man.
All right, see you later. Hope your homework goes well. Anyway. Before we wrap up, just anything to say more about the Patriots, just to wrap it up.
I think they'll for the rest of the season. I think they'll be all right if they play everybody hard. I think we.
How many
On
more
the table?
losses do you think they'll get?
I think. I necessarily don't know about rushing yards, but I think they'll be all right. I think they'll do all right.
I just think the
Super
Patriots
Bowl?
do what they need to.
What do you think? I'm kind of iffy right now.
It all depends on who they play.
It's too early.
in the early rounds of the
I
playoffs.
agree. I think it's too early right now.
A lot of things can happen.
And the way the
The
NFL
Patriots
is
could
set
have
up.
more injuries. You never
Yeah,
know.
exactly. Tom Brady could go down again.
Yeah.
And we could have who knows? We might have home field advantage. We might not.
It's true.
Hope we do because
We always want to.
All right, let's change over to just football from other games in general. All right,
The NFL.
to the NFL.
Okay, from football to the NFL. Sounds good, Face.
What was the biggest game of the week in your opinion, guys?
Start with me.
Let's start with you. Let's
All
go
right.
down the line.
I got to go with Dallas and the Giants because I really think it opened the NFC wide open
Okay.
with that game, and it showed again. The Giants just they come into the game with high expectations. Everyone, Eli Manning's the future. All that stuff, and they just blow it every game. They blow it.
I think their Giants coach will be fired by the end of the year. That's just my opinion with the Giants because Tom Coughlin. I think it's time for a change for them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sometimes it's not the coach, but you know what? Giants need to get going here. What would you guys say?
I just don't think Eli's.
Overrated.
Well, obviously he's overrated because everyone's picking him to be like